Dan Crenshaw represents Texas in the House, where he serves on the House Intel Committee. He's a Navy SEAL, and he joins us now. Welcome, Congressman. Thank you for your service to our country. What will be first on the House's agenda, especially as it relates to the border and relations with Mexico?
For the House agenda, the first thing we need to do is get an appropriations bill done before March 14th. As you know, that's when government funding runs out. We also need to raise the debt ceiling. We also need to pass a supplemental for California wildfires. And so there's a lot of discussion on what the best strategy is moving forward. We also need to do a reconciliation bill, and there's a lot of desire to do one large reconciliation bill as quickly as possible. And we could discuss the strategic inner workings of that conversation forever. But the way we see it, you got to do appropriations. And I think we have a lot of leverage over to get a good conservative appropriations bill done. You get the debt ceiling in there because that causes President Trump a lot of anxiety. And so getting that out of the way so that we can pave the way for reconciliation would be good. And I think we can get some Democrats on a bill like that because they're going to have to vote for California wildfire support. But that's going to be number one. When it comes to immigration, border issues, look, we still need, we can do some through reconciliation, which means just funding border walls, maybe funding more ICE agents, prosecutors, things like that. But real immigration reform, you need 60 votes in the Senate. President Trump will rescind every terrible Biden-era order that was ever implemented that caused this destructive policy at our border. I think he'll do all that on day one. I think he's ready to go. So I think we'll see improvements right away.
All right. Realistic expectations are good. I know you like them. I like them. It's unfair to the public to promise things that can't be delivered. The margin is thin in the House. I mean, even picking the speaker alone came with a little bit of drama. So what needs to happen for the House to coalesce, given that narrow majority?
Well, leadership from the top, for one. So, a huge difference between now and the hell of the last 2 years has been the contrarians in Congress. And you've served in Congress, Trey, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. There are people who just don't want things to work. They want to appear to be fighting for their constituents while making sure that we're always losing. Now, the difference, though, in the last 2 years, that was their incentive structure, and they got they raised money off of that. But now you have Trump in office, and Trump will demand a team effort. Trump will demand unity. That's how Speaker Johnson got elected much more easily than Speaker McCarthy, because we actually have a coach now. And so that's a good thing. It is a good thing. We can come up with a strategy and interim. And one of the things I like about working with President Trump is he loves taking in all these ideas from all different people. He's constantly making phone calls. He had a lot of different members over to Mar-a-Lago over this past weekend. I was there. And we come up with decent strategies that way.
Before I let you go quickly, you wrote an op-ed on Mexico and the cartels. What would be your advice to Donald Trump on fighting those merchants of destruction in Mexico?
Well, on day one, they're probably going to have some executive orders against the cartels. I think they're going to label them a terrorist organization. But look, here's the big thing that everyone needs to understand. We are doing a lot against the cartels, we being the U.S. government, but we are constrained a lot. Why? Because Mexico won't let us do everything we need to do. So the Trump administration's primary goal needs to get the Mexican government to agree to a major security cooperation agreement that allows us to work hand in hand with them, just like we have with the Colombians for 30 years, and a major shift in the way we do business in Mexico and assist and even operate with Mexican special forces against the cartels. That is the biggest thing that needs to happen. That's a diplomatic effort that has to happen. On the House side, we need a select committee to focus on this. Johnson continues to waver on this. I don't know why, but we have a lot of different pieces of legislation with a lot of different committees of jurisdiction. And I've done all this, by the way, with my task force with no staff, no help. All we're asking for is staffing resources and a committee of jurisdiction so that we can support President Trump's goals to kill the cartels. He seems like the only one in Washington who actually cares about killing cartels, him and me. And so, my message to the speaker is it's time to support the president's goals here, There's no reason not to have a select committee on this. This is exactly why we build select committees. So let's go. It's time to kill the cartels.
Dan Crenshaw from the great state of Texas, thank you again for your service to our country, and best of luck as you begin a new session of Congress. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Trey.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.